Hey, thanks for being a part of the conversation. Let's do some pod crashing. Episode number 239 is with Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, from the podcast, Newt's World.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I got to tell you, one of the best conversations that I've heard with you was the most recent one with Sean Hannity. I love the way that you utilize the tools of the past to strengthen our present place today. You educate us on your podcast.
Well, it was great. And frankly, having Hannity agree that he would interview me about my new book, March the Majority, led to a really, I think, very personal. He and I have known each other for 30 years, and I thought it was a very personal thing.
The journey that you have put forward is now heard on this podcast, Newt's World, which is just amazing to me because this is not what, Ronald Reagan came out and said, okay, we're going into a soundbite generation. Oh my God, Newt, if you would have had the power of the podcast back then, like you do today.
Well, the usually different. I mean, the thing about podcasts is you can have real conversations. You can dig in and deal with issues. You can explore them. And you can also explore personalities. I mean, sometimes what's interesting is the person who's on, not just the ideas. And I think the podcast gives you the freedom to do that.
Does that, when you go to the podcast, is that the writer in you who has discovered a voice, or is it the other way around? You are the voice, and the writing as well as the podcasting come from your mind, body, and soul.
Oh, I don't do any podcast that isn't me.
Yeah.
We have a team that helps on research. We just did a whole series on the Founding Fathers. So we did John Hancock, we did Samuel Adams, and we had researchers pulling together details. But I'm the storyteller, and I'm trying to tell you what I think. And in that sense, they're very authentic. The other part of it is I like learning. So when you're dealing with a topic as new and as complicated as artificial intelligence, I'm there as a student. And you and I are listening to some expert who knows a lot more than we do about the topic.
Did you know about the D-Day prayer from President Roosevelt? I was so glued to that story. Oh, my God. They don't teach that stuff.
No, and for years I've tried to get radio stations to play the prayer on D-Day because it is so surprising to have the President of the United States, go on the radio to the whole country and ask everyone to pray with him. And then he actually gives a pretty powerful prayer. And he says, people have said we should have a day of prayer, but I want every day to be a day of prayer. It's a very compelling, very powerful stuff.
You offer so many different journeys in the way that you speak on the podcast. And what I mean by that is that, you go from President Roosevelt's D-Day prayer to things that you can do at the Smithsonian Zoo. That really shows the humanism that you bring to the game.
Well, and of course we had the director of the National Zoo is a wonderful woman, a great background, and somebody who clearly loves animals and loves the zoo. And I was really surprised when we were doing research for that. Garnsey Sloan pointed out that the video of the pandas sliding in that make people smile.
When you're writing books, your words are right there in front of you. You can go back and study the paragraphs. Do you learn from your own lessons? Because you seem to be that constant student.
Yeah, when you learn because you're thinking things through and you suddenly realize, that I hadn't thought of it quite like that. So I find both writing and giving speeches has the same effect. That you're trying out new thoughts, new language, new ideas, new examples, and I spend an amazing part of my life just learning. And I think to really be a dynamic, effective teacher, you have to first of all be a student.
Mm-hmm. Look how strong you were during those 16 years before the majority took place. If I didn't have your podcast, I my mind just tuned that stuff out. You totally forget about where you were in order to build what you did.
Well, and that's part of the purpose of writing March the Majority is to get across that you have to have cheerful persistence. You have to have big dreams and big goals. But then you have to work and recognize that you may fail a fair amount. We failed a good bit. I watched Elon Musk when he first launched the Falcon 9. It blew up, and he said, "Wow!" He said, "We learned a whole lot from that." He recently had his newest Starship, which has 36 rocket engines, the most powerful rocket ever built, and it blew up. And he said, "Well, we got lots of good points to learn from that one." But he's permanently optimistic. He understands that progress comes one day at a time. There are no great leaps. There's just good, steady work.
When you write, you talk about writing speeches. You've got books when you write, and you've got a podcast. That's 3 different personalities.
Well, I don't know that the 3 personalities are 3 different sets of skills. Same person. First of all, you start with the idea that all communication occurs in the mind of the individual. They don't occur. So the communication we're having right now, it's what you hear, not what I say. If I'm writing, it's what you're going to get out of the writing, not what I'm writing. So I always try to come back from the listener or the reader to what I'm trying to do, and I try to put it in that context. I think second, you have to master each set of skills. The ability to do a podcast is different than the ability to do a 3-minute television interview, and that's different than the ability to write a newsletter, and that's different than the ability to write an entire book. So in case you've got to subordinate yourself to learn the discipline of the thing, it's like learning how to golf or learning how to ski, learning how to cook. You have to discipline yourself to the objective rules that work, and part of the point of my book on March to the Majority is that there are rules that work. There are principles that can be applied, and they have a huge impact.
What an amazing journey you've been on. And your podcast, Newt's World, as well as the brand new book, you continue to let us inside your life so that we can learn as students ourselves. I'm just so glad that you give yourself permission to do that.
Well, listen, it's a great honor to be a citizen, and I try every day, 7 days a week, to be a good citizen for America.
I love your heart. Please come back to this show anytime in the future, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Great talking to you.